All right, great morning, everybody. Today's March 2nd, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central. This is the Powur Hitters weekly training. And today we have a very special guest, someone that I've known for too long, 10 to 12 years, who's a solar rock star. So we will jump in here and get going. First of all, February is now over. March is upon us, which is crazy. I want to give some shout outs to some top consultant attraction. Congratulations, you have won a $100 Amazon gift card. So Solar Liliana Valdez recruited 7 people in the month of February. Give a virtual clap there.
Way to go, Lily!
Woohoo! Kiara, coming off of her first full month, 30 days in, recruited 6 people in February. Very nice, Kiara. And then one of JC Rangel's and Bruce's guys, Ariel Nunez, recruited 6 in the month of February. So congratulations, you guys are killing it. That is the way to success and to multiple 6-figure income. So excellent work. And a couple of shout outs, JC Rangel, Anthony Bonilla, Zach Haynes, you guys all did really well in February with your attraction. And a couple other people that did 2 or more, Jennifer Rangel, Christina Robbins, Brad Dahl, Najim, Chris Brunasso, I recognize that guy. Liliana Badillo, Bruce Villaral, Carolyn, Mike Fambam got 2, and Paul Leon got 2 as well. So excellent work for attracting consultants to join Powur in the month of February. And unfortunately, I don't really have like too much visibility around sales, but I did want to recognize 2 top people for this year, JC Rangel and Paul Leon. Just crushing it, selling multiple deals every single month. So hats off to you guys for the attraction. Lily, Kiara, Ariel, reach out to me to get your $100 Amazon gift card. Congrats again. And
No.
oh shoot, Lily's not here. I hope she wasn't. That way she wouldn't know. Dang it. Good job, Lily. So we always share a success story, something that happened to you recently. You got a lead, you got a bill, you talked to the owner at your restaurant, they signed up for solar, you attracted someone that joined and they made a bunch of money, and you got an ambassador, anything at all. We'd like to hear a success story. So who would like to share?
I can share. I can't see myself on the Zoom for some reason, but I don't know why.
So how
can you guys see me?
Yeah, we can see you. What do you got?
So just be consistent with posting, my social media stuff. I just built connections. All my 7 recruits reached out to me, actually. So I didn't recruit a single person. They all came to me and asked me what I was doing and joined. So that's it. Just be consistent.
So post on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and be on Clubhouse. Just be all over social media like Lily.
Yeah, I got 2 people from Clubhouse, 1 person from, basically everything was social media, and they just said they've been following and they just wanted to see what I was doing. I sent them the video, that's my funnel, and that's it, pretty much. People that either I've tried to work with or tried to reach out for something else before, and now we're doing solar together.
Awesome work. Getting to mentor status and recruiting 7 people in 1 month, that is the way to do it here. Who else we got? Any success stories you want to share?
Yeah, I got the system installed on my own house this week and it went perfect.
Yes, awesome. That's great, Ray. Congrats.
Be a product of the product.
I heard you can take the cost down pretty low when you do your own house too, huh? That's neat. I'll do a shout out to JC Rangel. He had a in-person event on Saturday in Downey. That room was packed. It was full. We did a presentation. And so hats off to him. He had multiple people join. I can see a few of you gentlemen on here and ladies that were there in attendance. Yep, I see you. So hats off to him. Any other success stories?
I'll give a quick
Yep.
positive story. So that 20K W that I signed up in January, we had some back and forth going out there. Had to do a second site survey, but being in communication with my customer the whole time and keeping that trust with them. I got a phone call from him yesterday, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. You know, kind of scary, not knowing what it's going to be. And he calls and he goes, hey man, did you hear about my roof? I was like, what? He's like, dude, it's falling in, bro. We're not. And I was like, just joking. He was like, do you have that $1,000 ambassador link? He's like, my neighbor wants to get solar, and I was gonna hook him up with me. Super cool. I was like, yeah, right on. So got an ambassador, a happy customer, and yeah, another 20K W system on the way.
Nice.
Awesome.
Jared.
That's a big deal. Just keeping in communication, answering the phone even when it hurts to answer.
Especially when it hurts.
Yep, it makes a difference big time.
Yeah, you know, there will be problems. This is construction. There will be delays, issues, permit revisions, inspection fail multiple times. We will miss something. We will screw something up. We will poke a hole in a wall. It is bound to happen at every single company I've been at. But if you stay in contact, you show you care, you show up as a person, and you just keep them updated, you will get referrals. So always keep that in mind. Right on. Well, let's keep this moving, guys. A ton of success and a ton of movement. This team is growing extremely fast, so it's great to have you all here. Today, we are very, very blessed to have a leader and a friend of mine I've known for over 10 years, Cynthia Alvidrez. And a lot of you know her. She's a mentor on the team. She's recently closed a few deals helping Kiara's new recruits, and she's doing really great. She knows a bunch about solar, and I wanted her to teach on how to pick the right solar panel and inverter. I'll get a little techie towards the end, and then we'll give some last minute updates and close it out with some Q&A. So with that, Cynthia, the floor is yours. Game on.
All right. Are you going to control the slides?
Yes, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready. Well, just to get started, what we'll do is we will go over the brands of panels that we have, and then we'll arm you guys with some talking points on each of the solar panels that we carry, just so that when we are in the home, you know some talking points and some bragging points on each of these panels. Are you sharing your screen? JB, are you going to pull that up?
Can you guys see my screen?
No, it's frozen right now.
Yeah, I can see your messy desktop.
Oh, wow. I thought I was sharing this whole time. Let's try this again. I must have been sharing the wrong screen, huh?
All right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. You were supposed to be sharing all this.
Yeah, come on,
No, we didn't
guys.
see it.
You've been here 15 times. Could we not say something? Just kidding.
We thought you were just winging it.
Right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So here's the awards. Lily, Kiara, Ariel, other shout outs, top sales. And then here's success stories. And then here is the team training that we're about to present on. And Cynthia, the ball is yours. Game on.
Thank you. Next slide.
My goodness.
All right. So these are some of the brands we carry. We're going to cover some of these brands and some talking points that you can go over in the home with your homeowner. And just seeing it like this, if you guys are new to Powur and haven't been in solar before, we carry a really good amount of brands. In previous companies that I used to work for, I only had a couple to offer homeowners. And so at Powur, we can really customize the system to what's going to work best for the roof and what the homeowner preferences are. Once you're in the consultation with them, you can really narrow down to what their preferences might be. And we have a great selection of brands that we work with to be able to do that. Other solar companies sometimes will only offer a couple. And even our biggest competitors in the largest solar companies out there are only offering 2 or 3 different panels when we have over a dozen options. Next slide. All right, so first, I'm a little biased, so Hanwha gets a whole slide. Hanwha, you guys, is the #1 selling solar panel nationwide. They own over 30% of market share. So almost 1 in 3 panels that are sold in the US is a Hanwha panel. And since there are so many, that is a really, really big deal. They are a Fortune 500 company. They have over 20 years of solar experience, and they're a global company. So they have locations in the US, Korea, China, and Malaysia. Those are their factories, but they also have offices in over 17 countries, which is not on here. But the cool thing about Hanwha too is they offer such a great variety of wattage options. I think what we're carrying right now is everything from a 315 to a 350, and they're constantly innovating. So they're always coming out with a new panel. So just as far as reliability and longevity of a company, Hanwha is definitely a company you can trust. I always tell homeowners, this is the Toyota of our solar industry. It's an affordable price and a reliable brand. Now, I have heard of consultants saying, oh yeah, Hanwha is a USA company because, they're in the US. And then the homeowner goes online and Googles and sees, wait a minute, they're in different parts of the country. So the way that I would word this is, our location in the USA is in Dalton, Georgia. You can see the picture of it here on the right. They opened the largest factory in Dalton, Georgia in 2018. And it's pretty impressive, you guys. There is actually a YouTube video that I'll post in the chat here box that shows the grand opening of the Dalton, Georgia facility. And so all of Hanwha's panels, Q cells, are locally shipped here. So they do come from Dalton, Georgia, but they're a global company. So those are just a few talking points for you guys. Oh, it looks like Jonathan posted that video. Next slide.
Did you want to see the video or we keep going?
Yeah, I can play it, or you want to play it?
Let me see if audio comes through. It might be a little choppy.
Okay.
At Q-Cells, we are creating a sustainable future through affordable and smart energy solutions. As part of our continued dedication to the growing U.S. solar market, we opened the largest solar module assembly plant in the Western Hemisphere to provide consumers with a new era of American quality.
We manufacture solar modules and we run 24/7 around the clock. We have 4 shifts and we manufacture 12,000 modules per day. The output here in the Dalton, Georgia facility is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. That's 1.7 gigawatts, and that's equal to the peak output of the Hoover Dam. So we're really excited. We're very proud of what we've built here in the community.
Q-Cells coming to Dalton, that is honestly a blessing. Before this, I worked in the carpet industry, and that is about all anyone knows around here is carpet. So when they opened this place, everyone was excited.
Very excited about the Q-Cells project that they have going on up in the Dalton area. I think it shows that manufacturing is coming back to the U.S. in many ways, that it can happen and people can make it work. And we certainly appreciate the company's commitment to that.
More and more companies are looking at alternative sources for renewable energy. And we're very excited to be here in the U.S. manufacturing a product that makes that accessible to them.
The people in Dalton and that whole area are very excited about that facility. We're also excited about the technology that they have and alternative energy in our state. Georgia's been a very progressive state when it comes to diversify our energy portfolio, so that's also a great benefit for us.
When I first heard Q-Cell was coming to the U.S., I thought that was a great idea. By the factory being so close, it makes us feel more comfortable that as the market grows, the supply chain can grow equally as fast.
We're investing in the community, we're creating jobs, and we're manufacturing modules, something that's going to make, you know, our world a better place.
I think he brings dawn hope. I really do. I feel more confident, I guess you would say, because like working at a carpet mill, you feel like you're doing what your parents done, what your grandparents done. I don't do that. I make solar panels. That's something that not everyone around here has done, and I'm very proud to wear this blue shirt. This blue shirt means a lot.
It's not just about a paycheck anymore. It's about what kind of a company you work for. I think Q-Cells, we have a lot of integrity to how we do business, and we're constantly working on how to get better about how we do that.
I feel like the future. I really do. Like, I mean, we're making it right here.
Look at that. It's huge.
Very cool. Yeah, my friend's wife works at the Irvine, Orange County headquarters as well.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, so Hanwha, you guys, really reliable brand. So just a few talking points to arm you in the home if you are recommending a Hanwha panel. Their efficiencies also are up there, as well as their output too. Next slide. Click. All right. So LG and Panasonic have lower degradation than most panels, with Panasonic leading at 92% production in year 25. So that would be our lowest degrading panel of any of the ones that we carry. So I know out there you guys might come across like a, SunPower panel, and their bragging right is that they have over a 90% degradation rate or 90% guaranteed output by year 25. Well, Panasonic would rival that. So Panasonic would be a great option for your engineer who really values the degradation rate of the panel and wants a premium panel. LG as well, very low degradation rates in most companies. And both of these two brands I couple together because they're so similar. They have premium panels. There's not a lot of black on black options, but their panels are still very attractive looking, and they have industry leading warranties. A lot of our manufacturers' warranties don't include labor cost, and LG and Panasonic are pretty famous for that they do include labor costs. But of course, side note, with other panels, you should be coupling our Solar Insure with all other panels, and that would kind of make this an even playing field for labor costs. And of course, these panels offer high wattage, high efficiency modules. And yeah, most options are not BOB. So Aptos panels. So Aptos is currently carrying our highest wattage panel at a killer price of 48 cents per watt. I mean, at this point, this is probably mostly everyone's go-to if you can fit it on the roof, because it has it's attractive, it's high wattage, and it's an excellent price. So definitely a very attractive panel. It is a USA-based company, and they did build the black on black is what BOB stands for, black on black. So with Aptos, they just built one of the largest solar manufacturing factories in the entire world. And apart from that, they have this patented DNA technology. Their factory is in, is it Vietnam? Yes, Vietnam. And they have superior test results in their third-party testing. So what they did, most of these solar panels, they're subjected to high heat to show how they will perform in different cycles in the real world. High heat, very cold temperatures. And they do a lot of tests with these panels to check their durability, efficiency, degradation. And Aptos said, go ahead and put our panels through 3 rounds of those tests and then chart the results. So that's definitely pretty impressive. And Aptos, yep, really good selection from what we have. Next slide. All right, Hyundai. So Hyundai also comes with brand recognition for our homeowners, just like LG and Panasonic. It's a name that homeowners are very familiar with. They are a Fortune 500 company. They are currently offering our most affordable option at 40 cents per watt. So if you have a south-facing roof plane to put solar on and there's plenty of space to do it, Hyundai is an excellent choice for that type of home. Mission Solar. Mission Solar is probably one of my favorites because it is a USA brand and it's completely engineered, manufactured, and assembled from start to finish in the USA. So that's a big deal for some of our customers. A lot of homeowners don't know that, you know, German technology is really like the best in our solar industry. They don't know that it's okay if a solar panel is made outside the US. And so they value USA made products because they want to support the US economy. So this panel would be perfect for that. They're built in San Antonio, Texas. They actually have super cool media. If you guys have not checked out the Mission Solar training on Powur Resources, definitely check it out. And I have that saved, JB, if you want to watch the Mission Solar video after, but they actually show a guy using a flamethrower to shoot at the solar panel. And they also show a truck running over it. They dunk it in like a little tub. And so it's just like a really fun video to show your homeowners if you're recommending this type of panel to them. And then if you're working in the Texas market, I would definitely lean towards Mission Solar as well. And black on black panels also. Yeah, you can go next slide. Apart from that are inverters. So Enphase, industry-leading warranties, superior module level monitoring. So you can monitor each panel individually, and their monitoring website just works so seamlessly with their products. So that's what makes Enphase special. It's an excellent choice for partially shaded homes because one panel can be shaded or one panel can just go out and the rest of the panel can work without that one panel. That's not the case for a lot of other like string inverters, for instance. We don't carry string inverters, but a string inverter, if you have one panel shaded, that whole string on that row goes out and will not work. And so, and with a standalone inverter like that too, if the actual inverter has an issue, then the whole system goes down. So that's what makes Enphase so special. There's no single point of failure, and they have a very, very low rate of failure in general for the micro inverter itself. It is not compatible with LG battery, but it is compatible with the new revolutionary Enphase battery technology they just came out with, which is super cool if you have not checked out the new battery trainings. Okay, so Solar Edge. Solar Edge is not a string inverter, but it is a step up from a string inverter, in my opinion. It's a major improvement over them because they come with optimizers that allow you to potentially manage each, potentially monitor each panel individually. But then, of course, you would need to have your app set up for that. You would have to set up consumption monitoring as well. They have 12 to 25-year warranties, so not really as long as our Enphase micro inverters. But they have their really cool energy hub, which allows for consumption monitoring built in, as well as future add-ons like EV charger and smart plugs that would all work on one app eventually when they come out. So they're still working on that. But that's my favorite thing about Solar Edge. And most products of Solar Edge aren't as flexible with expansion as Enphase microinverters are, but Solar Edge does offer a greater variety of Solar Edge equipment and Solar Edge inverters. So you have more options when it comes to pairing them with your solar panels. Compatible with LG battery. Future battery is maybe coming for Solar Edge. They've been discussing that. And it is the most affordable option. So if you have a homeowner that the roof, you're maxing out the roof anyway, expansion's not really a big deal. Solar Edge would be a great option for them, especially if they're on a budget and you're trying to make it more affordable. Next slide. So we're going to go through a few scenarios. These are real projects, and we're going to go through and maybe JB can unmute too if he has any opinions on this. But let me minimize this. So for this house right here, ignore the trees to the west. They are no longer there. But for this roof, you can see that he has excellent sun exposure on his southern facing mounting plane. So he has plenty of room. So we went with the lowest cost option. He needs a very small system, and he didn't want a main panel upgrade, but he had one circuit available. So 120 amp circuit. So you can fit 16 N-phase IQ7 inverters on one 20 amp circuit. So we were able to avoid an MPU with putting 16 microinverters with the system. He still met his overall production, which is what matters. And we chose Enphase over Solar Edge because he may want to expand in the future, and he may pass on the home to his son. So he wanted to give him that option. JB, any other panel that you would have recommended for this home? What are your thoughts?
I like this. You could also use a Solar Edge 5000 for anyone wondering. That could be another option here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes when the house below is 2-story or maybe some trees, I like to keep them along the highest ridge line, just in case there's any. So not this house, but just other people. If you keep them along the top on the south, it could avoid shading from a 2-story neighboring home. But no, this looks great. I like that you used a less expensive panel because you had more space, so you could give a better value or make a bigger commission as well.
Exactly, yeah, and really good point with putting the panels up towards the top. This one we weren't able to do so because if you look closely, there's a bunch of vents there. But next slide. All right, so in this scenario, this homeowner, really sweet lady in Arcadia, she wanted all her panels on the back of her home, not to be visible from the front. So we're not probably going to need to go with the black on black panel because no one's going to see them. They're going to be on the back. But as you can see, she has a ton of roof dimensions to her roof. I mean, there's just, it had to be pieced out. It's not like one solid clean array. So it had to be a high wattage panel. We didn't have the Hanwha 350 at the time. So I went with the Hanwha 330 because it still needed to be affordable. In a different scenario, if we had the 350 watt, I would have used that. But you couldn't use a 400 watt because then we wouldn't have been able to fit all of the panels because the mounting planes are so small. The best inverter for this was going to be the Enphase IQ7 Plus. Now you will hear with the 330 watt, you will hear Enphase recommend that you can also use the Enphase IQ7 regular. In my opinion, you get a lot more output from an Enphase IQ7 Plus, and you can definitely still use that on a 330. This particular customer already had a 200 amp panel, so I wasn't worried about Enphase IQ7 Plus triggering a main panel upgrade because I knew she already had an upgrade. So that's usually why some consultants will try to stick with a lower output inverter because they're more compatible with smaller main panels. Anything on this, JB?
Looks good. Would have done the same.
Awesome. And then as far as a Solar Edge for that one, it was a 7 kilowatt. So you could have 7,600 or it was an 8 kilowatt. Even a 7,600 would have stretched and be fine. Would have been great for that.
Yeah, and I'll touch on this a little bit later, but a 7,600 would be okay because even though this is 8.91 kilowatts or 8,910 watts, because it's broken up to 2 different directions, the entire array won't be peak performance at the same time. So therefore a Solar Edge with a 7,600 rating instead of an 8,910 system will suffice just perfectly.
Okay, awesome. All right, so this is a Texas customer. So we gave him our Mission solar panels made in San Antonio, Texas. It's street view. So we knew off the bat that it had to be a black on black panel, and he has plenty of room. So it didn't necessarily need to be a high wattage panel. And we coupled it with the Enphase micro inverter. He had solar on his last home and didn't have a micro inverter. His solar edge went down and it took a week to replace. So he didn't really want to deal with that anymore. And I'm not saying solar edge is not reliable, but he just wanted to make sure that he had Enphase inverters this time. So yeah. And then we also could have went here, since, you know, I gave him Mission Solar because it's in Texas, but we also could have went with the Hyundai 305 because he has plenty of room there. It's still a black on black panel. And we could have still, of course, met his overall wattage by just adding some more panels. Anything on this, JB?
I really only use the pluses when it's 350 watts or higher, which I'll touch on. So I think IQ7s would have been perfect here. And then I probably would have done a solar edge. If I did do solar edge, a 7600 would be the preferred as well.
Yeah, and I like using the IQ7 Plus, especially if I already have a 200 amp panel. And I know some other consultants like it too. However, yes, here you can also use just a regular IQ7, and that would have been perfectly fine as well. You are going to get a higher efficiency and higher output though. That's going to be able to manage that 320 watt and convert it better than a IQ7. Go ahead. All right, so this homeowner had a lot of vents in the center of his roof. He needed a high wattage panel. And so we went with the Hanwha Q-Cell 350. Didn't really need to be black on black. It's not street viewed. He didn't really care what it looked like, and he was getting a battery with this. So we gave him the Solar Edge Energy Hub. And that is really that for this one. If he wasn't getting the battery, we would have paired the 350 with the IQ7 Plus. And the IQ7 Plus is really meant for modules that are between a 350 up to 440 watt is what they say, which is a little high in my opinion. But you can still pair it, pair panels that are lower in wattage, 350 watts with the IQ7 Plus. Do you have anything else on this, JB?
Yeah, I think this one could be a good candidate for the 400 watt because we have a pretty good amount of space here.
I agree.
If you're going up against other quotes, like I just gave my parents' neighbor a quote and he said, give me a few days. And then he came back with a SunPower proposal that was using 360s. So I look like the hero because I used 400s. So I am preferring 400s a little bit more these days. The 350 though was my go-to for the longest time. You don't need black on black if it's the back of the roof. And then just as a reminder, Solar Edge is having a contest this month, guys. They're giving away $30,000 just to Powur. Whoever sells the most Solar Edge systems, 10 grand. Whoever sells the most energy hubs, 10 grand. And then there's a raffle for 10 grand. So if I were you, you could sell every one of your deals with an energy hub. And like Cynthia said, it gives you future battery or EV plug additions in the future. So just some things to keep in mind. But no, this looks great. Exactly what I would have sold. Good value all the way around.
Awesome. And yeah, touching on the 400 watt, because I know some of us are probably wondering out there, a 400 watt is going to produce more technically with a Solar Edge Energy Hub. Now, there will be minor clipping if you use an Enphase IQ7 Plus, but it is pretty minor. So for you as a consultant, it's just going to be weighing with your homeowner what they value more between Enphase and Solar Edge. to make the decision on what you're going to pair that 400-watt panel with.
We do have one question. If the homeowner has a 200 amp panel with a whole house surge protector, does that make the IQ7 Plus a good choice? I'm not sure that those correlate very well.
Enphase, is Enphase on? I think the question is probably just like it shouldn't trigger a main panel upgrade if they have a couple of circuits available. Usually an Enphase IQ7 Plus can handle a total of, I think it's 36 inverters and 36 panels on 2 circuits.
I'll show it right now. Yeah. But yeah, I would, David, I would answer that. It really kind of depends on you could do either the plus or the regular. It really depends on the solar panel. If it's not a 350 watt panel, then you're not going to experience clipping with an IQ7. So in my opinion, I don't see an advantage going with an IQ7 Plus for a little bit higher cost if you're not getting any clipping with the regular IQ7. But I'll touch on that a little bit more in just a minute. And then Zach asked, is the Enphase not compatible with an EV charger? Sounds like you're pushing Solar Edge for that purpose. You want to take that, or I can take that?
What was the question? Is Enphase not compatible with EV charger?
Right.
Well, if what you mean is that they're looking to plug in an electric vehicle charger, then no, Enphase doesn't have like an energy hub like Solar Edge has right now to be able to plug that in as of this time. I think that in the future, that's one of the things that they're working on right now, to be able to offer a variety of those services, and not just what they have right now. But Solar Edge Energy Hub would be better in that scenario if someone wants to connect their EV charger to the actual inverter, because Solar Edge Energy Hub will be coming out with the EV charger that will be able to plug right into the Energy Hub.
Yep, that's what I would say, Zach. The Solar Edge actually has something you could plug into it and then plug your car in, depending on where it's located. But me, I have an electrician go out to the home, and he can, off of the main panel, connect an EV charger, go to the garage, they can connect the EV charger. So there's kind of 2 schools of thought, right? Having an electrician get you a custom one, or plug it into the inverter there.
Yeah, and thanks for putting that link in there. And the cool thing about each of these products, the Solar Edge Energy Hub, Enphase, there's a bunch of these trainings just for each of those products in Powur Resources. So if you want to dive a little bit deeper, you can. So this is really just basics in order to arm you in the home with knowing what panel to recommend and being able to sell your homeowner on why you're recommending that panel and why it's a good choice, or why you're recommending that inverter and why it's a good choice for them.
Awesome. Well, I'll add a few more slides here and then we'll do a Q&A. Anything else right now, Cynthia? Good?
Nope, not right now.
Cool. Well, you absolutely crushed it. Everything I would have said. So thank you so much for that. We'll jump to Q&A here in just a minute. But if you thought that was helpful, you can show Cynthia some love, assign her as a mentor, or recommend her to some new teammates here. And she will be more than happy to help close y'all deals. All right, so I'm gonna get a little techie for a minute or two, and then an update before Q&A, and we'll get this recording shared. So like Cynthia was saying, on the IQ7, if you look at a 350 watt panel on the left here, take a screenshot of this if you'd like, and we come over to the clipping, it's 1.9% clipping. Now, I'm not super engineer techie, I just know enough to be dangerous, so I'm gonna give you my version of that. If you're using a 350 watt panel with an IQ7, you will experience 1.9% clipping. You will have 1.9% less production, is my understanding. So At that point, it does start to make sense to consider the IQ7 Plus. You can see the 320s or the 330s have a 0.3% or a 0.7% clipping. And clipping is where all the energy being produced doesn't make it to the home. It's getting lost because the technology can't pass through all of the energy. So just know that IQ7s at 350 watts, 1.9% clipping. Now, if we look at the IQ7 pluses, those inverters, then there is some clipping that occurs when you get up to the 400 watt panel. So you can see 395 and 405 watts panel on the left here. If we come over, it's about 1 to 1.2% clipping. So if you sell a 400 watt Aptos panel with an IQ7 Plus, there will be 1% clipping. Solar Edge, yeah, who cares, Jared? Solar Edge can be a little bit more production. You may see your production on big systems go up a couple hundred kilowatt hours with Solar Edge and go down a couple hundred with the end phase. And that's because there is some clipping that occurs about 1.2%. Now, if your system is producing 20,000 kilowatt hours a year times 1.2%, that's 240 kilowatt hours. So it's very minimal, marginal, but just in case you were wondering.
And the annual kilowatt hour estimate is right there next to it too. So like on the one, what is it, the 405 watt one, it would be 670 that it clips on an annual basis. So if you're sizing the system correctly, if you're sizing it because you want to give a homeowner microinverters, just make sure you account for that size. And then also in solo, I have noticed that it does account for like a 1% decrease when you switch from a Solar Edge to an end phase. So it should already be calculated for you. So it's not like you're going to need to think about these things actually. So it's already calculated for you. And you can see, going back to what JB said, you don't need to use an IQ7 Plus on anything less than a 350. You don't. But if you're in that 330 to 350 range, you can use an IQ7 Plus and it's going to have almost no clipping at all. So it's really just really preference, honestly. You are going to get a higher output if you use the IQ7 Plus, but you definitely still can use the IQ760.
And just so everyone knows, the IQ7 Plus is a little bit more expensive than the IQ7s. And generally the IQ7s is a little bit more than the Solar Edge as far as pricing goes. So, all right. And I am not an electrician, so I'm going to try to tell you this, but like Cynthia said, 16 IQ7 Pluses right here can go off of a 25 amp, and your main panel can be 125, 125. So just to reemphasize it, 16 of the IQ7 Pluses, you can get away with a panel sometimes that is not 200 amps. The moment you go above 16 IQ7 Pluses, you most likely will need a 200 amp main panel upgrade. Now you can see you can get away with 20 of the IQ7s without having to go to a 200 amp main panel upgrade. So when trying to determine if you want IQ7 or IQ7 Pluses, sometimes a main panel upgrade can be favorable, or it may not be favorable. It might be an underground fed system. It might be thousands of dollars. It might need a relocation. So it's good knowledge to know that if you're trying to avoid a 200 amp main panel upgrade and you have 18 solar panels, then which one would you do? You would do the IQ7, not the IQ7 Plus. And if this is a little high level for some newer people, just get with your mentor, Cynthia, Paulione, Jarrett, Solar Lily. All these guys here can help elaborate on this. But
And all of this information is a lot of information. And like JB said, it's not for you guys to know this overnight. It's something that you don't need to know off of the bat. All you need to be able to do is get bills and tag a mentor.
Yeah.
But know enough to be dangerous is really what it comes down to. And so if you wanted to master this, you definitely can. We have the tools here. I still learn stuff all the time. Before this training, I made a couple phone calls just to double check some of my preferences. So yeah, you guys, this is not all something that you need to memorize and know. These are just some talking points for you and some things to know for you to be a little bit more versed in the home with our equipment.
Yep. I barely learned this last year, so never know. All right. Last inverter update here. So if you're using Solar Edge to flip gears, the 7600 inverter is generally the one that requires a 200 amp. So just know if you're selecting a 7600, you likely will need to make sure that it's a 200 amp main panel or do a main panel upgrade MPU. Now, general rule of thumb, you generally want the Solar Edge rating to match the system watts. So what does that mean? A 10 kilowatt system, which is 10,000 watts, you would want to do a Solar Edge 10,000. So you generally want the Solar Edge rating to match the power of the system. Now you can go lower when the system is split in different directions. So for example, on this 10,000 watt system, if you were to use a Solar Edge 7600 and that entire solar system was facing south, every panel, and it's the middle of summer with the peak production, 7600 cannot contain 10,000 watts of power, right? So in that scenario, you'd be screwing over the customer. If it's facing one direction, especially south or west, you want to make sure that your Solar Edge rating is the same or very close to your system. Now, if it's split in multiple directions, this is a bad example on the right, but if you have some that's east, west, and south, the entire system won't be performing at peak at all the same time. So you can go lower on the Solar Edge rating. Like in this example, some will be hitting south, some will be hitting in the morning on the east. So you could potentially get away with a 7600 because you don't need the 10,000. So again, just some high level stuff. Try to get it close. If it's multiple directions, you can go down a little bit. And if it's 7600, you generally have to have a 200 amp main panel upgrade. All right, we'll do some last minute updates here and wrap up the recording. So you all know 12 months free promotion ends March 31st. So it's March Madness. March just started. Get these graphics posted on social media, everywhere, your stories. Really emphasize the end of March to drive the urgency this month to get some sales under your belt. And that does add to the cost. You have to click incentives in the menu in Solo and turn it on. But for a few bucks more, they get 12 months. It's a check mailed to the homeowner 4 to 6 weeks after install. They still have to pay their first bill 30 to 60 days after install to the lender, but they will get a check from Powur equal to 12 months of payments. Next Tuesday, my friend here, Tony Jimenez from Sunlight Financial, my favorite lender, Paul Leone and I crush it with Sunlight. They have a 0.99 20-year loan. They have a 10-year 6.25 no dealer fee loan, and their credit scores just went down to 640 FICO. That qualifies as well as combined family income as well. So Sunlight has this also rewards points program. I have like hundreds and thousands of dollars of points that I could just buy crap I don't need. So that's another perk of using Sunlight Financial. So come next week, Tuesday, Tony Jimenez. And just some more graphics that you can share online in the marketing Google Drive that our team has. 26% federal tax rate has been extended. Here's a real estate. I can help with real estate, loans, and solar. I think one of you guys, Luis or someone, shared this image and got a lead or got someone to join as a consultant or got an ambassador. So you just never know when an image like this can be used for anyone in real estate, which is awesome. And some more pictures here. I just shared on the Powur Hitters Facebook page yesterday, the Enphase storage battery that we just got, and then a cool little Texas graphic that Danny Sang actually sent me. So thanks for that. Always be sharing, guys. Always be posting. Always social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. That's led to much, much success on this team. When someone sees it 8 to 10 times over the next month or two, and then summer's here, who are they going to think of for solar if you're posting all this stuff? We are doing an in-person event March 18th. So let's drive into that. Recruit, build into March 18th, in-person event, 6 p.m. In Claremont, Los Angeles County. JC Rangel and I and some other leaders, Anthony Bonilla, will be doing an in-person business showcase, just showing the opportunity, showing the solar business to new people. So invite as many guests as possible, and we will be safe with masks on and all that good stuff. Last two things here. All events are in powurcalendar.com, so live by that. The future event in person, but other events, right? So March 3rd, tomorrow, 11 a.m., new consultant launch with Melissa Dawson. She'll give you tips and tricks to get yourself and your business going. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I believe we're having the consultant training. And I think Loan Pal will be talking about their new Flex Pay. Pretty important stuff there. This Friday, there's a Q&A that's available in the calendar. So as this team grows, always talk to your leadership first, but we have this training every week with Q&A here in a few minutes. Then we have a Friday Q&A. We have new consultant launch. We have consultant training. So tons of resources almost every day. And lastly, I will be going on a vacation for the next week and a half. I'll be in Hawaii tomorrow. So I'm going to try to disconnect as much as possible. This is something I made to help with that. Who to contact at Powur. Always check blog.powur.com for your questions, and then check it again. Always search blog.powur.com, then check with whoever sponsored you. Ask them the question if they know. And then you could check with your leadership above them and your upline. You can always check Powur Pioneers Facebook group. And we have, of course, our own Powur Hitters Facebook group. Make sure you're on those. Last resort, you can use the Powur Hitters Messenger chat on Facebook to ask a question. We try to keep that for important updates and trainings only, but that can be used as well. And then pre-sales, if it's prior to signing and you have a question, texting them is the best way, or emailing them. Rachel and Andy Smith are the ones in that department. Project manager, post-sales, that's going to be in your project. You can leave them a ticket, get a response within a day or two. You can see their name and number. You can email them, text them. And then lastly, you could even check out postsales.com. Some of you have asked about a customer care department. Who can our customers contact? It's on that initial email that says, welcome to Powur, you made the right choice. The phone number and the email that our customers can contact. And if you have any sign-up issues, you need to change your email, the training, university issues, Beth, Irene, and Jacqueline are the ones to go to. Loan change orders or commission payout questions, Emily Budd. Always check your project manager first if there's a project, but Emily.Budd would be the person. And then last resort, hopefully they're not listening. You can email Charles Thompson or Bobby Smith if it's red alert, last resort. So that would be the order. And that is all we have today. So again, thank you so much to Cynthia. You're a rock star. You're super solid today. Show her some love, assign her as a mentor. And I will stop this recording. Second.